engagement is not good in America. 70% of American workers are disengaged to the point that they hate their job. This is a Gallup 2017 poll. You touched on it earlier. Do they feel known? Do they know that their job matters? Can they see the measurement for their success? Is it those three things, again, that you touched on, or are there other ways to say, okay, we're going to have to really take an assessment of where our company is on engagement, and how do we do this across the board and make sure that it goes deep?
I think it's a couple things. I think that, first of all, we have to disabuse ourselves of the idea that engagement is a function of money and status. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is there are people, like I talk about Mike Rowe, his show Dirty Jobs. There are people in the world that have jobs that seem very unattractive, who are very engaged and go home at night feeling great about what they do. And there are people who make millions of dollars sitting in a high-rise office in New York doing something relatively sexy and high profile who are miserable. So it's not about money, it's not about status, and even though the world will tell you that's what makes somebody happy. And this is something, I know you love career stuff, so do I, and I love your books, and the new one coming out is fantastic. And if you encourage somebody to do what they're meant to do, they're gonna find happiness in that. I mean, they're gonna find more fulfillment in that. But what they need more than anything from their manager is they need to feel like they're known, that somebody cares about them. Mm-hmm. There are professional football players who are making millions of dollars working half the year at a child's game. And I've been around them in the locker room and at training camp, and they're really unhappy because deep down inside they know my coach could give a crap about me. Mm. He never talks to me. They don't know what's going on in my life. He doesn't ask about my kids or about what's going on. And as a result, they're miserable. And we think, what a spoiled, rotten brat. It's like, no. Every human being needs to believe that the person they work for gives a darn about who they are as a person. Mm. And if we're not doing that, and every leader I talk to, Ken, says, you're right, Pat, I know I have to do that. I remember when I first started working, I wanted that more than anything, but dang it, I'm just so busy and I forget. And I say, well, start doing it now. And they go, it's going to be kind of weird and awkward. I'm like, yeah, it is. Just go up to your people and say, I haven't really taken an interest in you as a person. That's stupid. I'm sorry for that. I'm kind of embarrassed. I'd like to start now. Can we have a talk about what's going on in your life? Because I'd really like to know. And I'll share with you what's going on in mine. No employee is going to turn their back on that. But we have to humble ourselves enough to say, I'm sorry I haven't done this well.
Interesting.
And it starts there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Keep going. Interesting that the starting point was communication, not a reward, not lavishing them with a gift or an attaboy. It was just, hey, what's going on in your life?
Do you know what happens when you don't know somebody and you're not doing these things we're about to talk about, but you pay them more? There's research that shows that actually frustrates them because now they feel like they're being bought. Mm-hmm. There was a social psychology study years ago. I remember I learned about it in high school or college, and I've heard it since then, where they had these people on the street go up to somebody and ask for a favor. Like, hey, could you help me move these boxes? And a high percentage of people did it. And then they went to people and said, hey, for $5, would you help me move these boxes? And a far lower percentage of people did it because they didn't want to feel like it was an economic decision. People don't work for economics. They work because they believe in the mission.
That's right.
They need money to live, but that is a satisfier and not a driver. And when companies think we need to increase people's stock and increase their pay and their bonuses, and that is going to take care of their engagement issue, they never get what they want.
I got to repeat this. This is so good. I wrote this down. Money is a satisfier, not a driver. That ought to be a leadership mantra. You ought to chant that for, 15 times before you walk in the office every day.
Yeah, because, once you make enough money, you're not going to turn down a bonus or a raise, but it has diminishing marginal returns. But getting reminded by your manager and your customers that what you did really helped them and being celebrated and known, you never get tired of that. You want more and more and more of that. Mm-hmm. It's like love. It's like a kid doesn't want their dad to buy him more sneakers. He wants him to spend more time and to hug him and to give him more encouragement. No kid says that's enough encouragement. Nobody ever quit a job like, hey, enough recognition.
That's so true. This guy wouldn't stop loving on me. It's driving me bananas.
Exactly.
Yeah, so good.